for the players.
I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And this is For the Players, the pop culture PlayStation podcast with over 40 years of playing PlayStation and 12 plus years in that games being by. Thank you for joining us in this PlayStation conversation.
This PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you'd like to take part in future conversations with us, you can come and check out our socials: Facebook, Discord, Instagram, and X. All of those links can be found in the description below.
If you want to join the conversation as it happens, and also if you're ever so kind, like our good friend Rated Type R gave us a subscription, it'll make a bunch of bleeping noises while we record the show. If you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/popcultures. We watch us record this show live. We can jump in the chat, become a subscriber, and be part of the show. And if you want to support the conversation, no, I've done that one. As it happens. What's the next part?
I don't know. This is your bit. I zone out. I only know my bit.
If you want to support the show, you can by telling your friends, telling your family about the PlayStation podcast. If you watch us on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment below. I'll endeavor to answer every single comment. If you listen to the podcast, like, fucking review, 5 stars, all that nonsense. If you want to support us financially, you can at patreon.com/popcultures, as well as our merchandise store, popculture.com/shop, where you can buy shirts, other sort of shit with our logos on it. I don't know what happened there, apart from me just having a legitimate stroke. I think there was a whole string of brain just stopping. So that was exciting. We were pretty used to it at this point, Max. Yeah, just my brain being hot garbage.
Yeah, I'm used to it.
You've become accustomed to it.
I kind of, like I said before, I kind of zoned it out. I'm just like, this is a Ryan problem, not a me problem.
Cool. So I have about 45 seconds to not do shit, so I'm just gonna check out.
I nailed my bit.
I've contributed. Everything else from here is somebody else's problem.
That's it. Not my clowns, not my circus.
How you been, man?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad.
Anything exciting?
Not really. It's been a pretty chill week. Just still trying to get more hours at work, which has been a fucking fiasco. So essentially, company I work for is like, Max needs more hours. Client that I work for needs more hours. But the third party that handles the contract between my company and my client is like, Max does not need more hours. Fuck you both.
But they're like, yeah, but we're the ones that dictate his fucking hours.
So yeah, it's been an ordeal this week, but hopefully something will come out of it soon with all parties moving forward. And then there was my rant to you at the back end of this week when
audiobooks.
Oh, fucking audiobooks, man! So that's how I get through work at night. I put my headphones in and I listen to audiobooks. It's really good. Get through them pretty quickly. I can finish a book in about 3 days. I am on book number 23 of a honkin' series.
Now, not just any honkin' series. This is a series that has been brought to my attention as my lovely partner Phoebe, huge fan of The Magician. She's like, you should read this book. And I'm like, I'm not good at reading books. So I got the audiobook and then I keep forgetting to listen to it. You.
It is my favorite series of all time. I think I've read each book at least 2 or 3 times, and I've listened to each of them about the same. And this bit pisses me off every time. There's one narrator for book 1 through to 22. Book 23, they're like, surprise, new guy. And then for the final book, back to the original guy.
Why?
I don't know. Maybe he was sick for those 7 hours and couldn't read.
And are these like through Audible or?
They're through Audible.
Okay.
All through the same publisher. And it sucks because all the voices are different because it's a different reader. And they pronounce half the shit differently, which also pisses me off.
What do you mean? It's not Thomas?
No, So
I got into a fight with Phoebe and Craig about Tomas because there are so many dumb names. I'm like, what's wrong with Tomas? Like, it's Thomas. I'm like, it's fucking spelt Tomas, by the way.
It's Tomas.
Yeah, eat a dick, you fucking nerds.
And all through the 22 books, it's Tomas, and the other guy's like, Thomas. I'm like, "Fucking hell,
But because my argument was in fantasy worlds, like dumb names are allowed, and they've established that in the first chapter or two that you meet, like everyone has dumb fucking names.
So it's not Leviosa, it's Leviosa,
So,
and
yeah.
this happens. So one of the names of one of the towns is called Elvendar. It's the capital city of the elves. So through all of the books, Elvendar, and then the other guy's like, it's Elvendar. I'm like, no, it's not.
Yeah, so they start this premise of dumb names as you've highlighted, and then the book goes, and then in the audiobook they call him Tomas. I'm like, that makes sense, and then like, it's Thomas. I'm like, no, but everyone highlighted in the story so far has a dumb name, and like, oh yeah, there's some guy named David. I'm like, that's weirder than him being fucking Tomas, right? Like you understand, right? There's no one in Lord of the Rings named Steve. Like, everyone has dumb names. It's a standard of fantasy.
I don't know. I think
Every fantasy has to have a dumb name. It has to have weird extra syllables and extra vowels.
There's a guy named fucking Tom in Lord of the Rings. What do you want about?
Is there?
I mean, he has a dumb last name with Bombadil, but his name's Tom.
But I bet it's short for like Tom LaFligula or something. It's an abbreviated shortening of larger, dumber name.
Short for Tomas.
Yeah. I could make fun of two beloved fantasy franchises in one go. I'm probably gonna get so yelled at when I leave this podcast. By the way, I'm gonna walk in the lounge room and then she's gonna be like, "I fucking hate you." I'm like, "Yeah, it's absolutely fair."
I don't think I've ever, because obviously I've read the book, so
yeah.
reading it myself has been fine. But I swear I take nothing in when I listen to the audiobooks. I'm like, the voice just doesn't make sense to me.
See, it's interesting because like during the heat of Game of Thrones,
and for context, it's the second book in the final three.
Yeah, because there's like a little sections off. Yeah.
So it's like normal book, middle book is fucked, last book is good again. It's really shitty.
Interesting. It's just like Star Wars episodes 1, 2, and 3. 1 is pretty alright. 2 is poo. 3 is alright again. But yeah, I tried like in the heat of the Game of Thrones moment. I did the same thing. I was like, I'm going to listen to the audiobooks.
It's a really hard listen.
It's a hard listen because the guy makes Tyrion sound like this because he's a dwarf apparently, and they're like, I guess that means he's small and sounds like an idiot. I'm like, no, he's the smartest man in Westeros, and you were like, I'm like, no, what the hell? Saying that though,
it's a hard listen also because every chapter is told from a different perspective.
No, that also didn't help. Yeah,
because it jumps around a lot.
Yeah, but I jumped out real quick because I was like, this voice is stupid. However, listening to Harry Potter done by Stephen Fry is like one of the best audiobook experiences you'll ever have.
No, dude. Listen to fuck.
Are you gonna give me a name that I'm not gonna know or care about?
No, you'll know. What's his fucking name? No, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Was narrated by Andy Serkis.
Oh, okay, that's good. Yeah, that's
Guess
real
what?
good.
He nails the Gollum part.
Whoa! What a twist!
It's so good.
See, I'm down for some interesting voices. Like there's a DVD that I have somewhere. I got it for my kid. It was Thomas, but it was because obviously. Tomas, the Tunk and the Tunk engine, the engine, the Tunk engine. And so because obviously Ringo Starr does the early seasons, which is my favorite thing in the world, because to me that is the sound of Tomas. But they did a couple. There was one with Alec Baldwin, which is fun because I love Alec Baldwin's voice. They did one with George Carlin, which was really bizarre. There was a third one that I don't remember. But yeah, hearing George Carlin do essentially the narration for an episode of Tomas the Tonkin was real weird.
The other good one, which you would find interesting,
go
is
ahead.
the Sandman audible.
Ooh!
Because it's voiced by many actors.
Many actors? Like a radio play, you say?
Exactly like a radio play.
Okay, I'm totally in.
Orpheus is
good
James
name.
McAvoy.
Oh shit! Wait, really?
Death is Kat Denning.
Well, okay, you don't need to give me any more. It is well documented.
No,
My
those two
absolute
sold- those two sold me
adoration
as well.
for Kat Dennings. What was that?
Those two sold me instantly. I'm
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah.
You didn't like you said like James McAvoy. I'm like, oh yeah, that's Xavier Charles Xavier. That's pretty sweet. If you just went Kat Dennings, I'm like, I'm in. I fucking love that woman.
Yeah.
Adore that woman. Oh.
Yeah. And if you have an Audible subscription, it's free.
Yeah. This is where we'd have a really good spot to plug an Audible sponsorship if we had one, but we don't. So we just like all this everyone's listening going, are they going to plug Audible right now? And the answer is no. I listen to my podcast through Spotify, my audiobooks through Spotify.
I did, and then they're like, you get like 11 hours of audio.
Yeah, so that was really helpful.
Whole book, fuck you.
Yeah, helpful for me with my inability to pay attention because like I was able to listen to one book over multiple months. Because I listened to there's a journalist out of Sydney. She wrote a book about her first year after her ADHD diagnosis, and it was awesome, and it was bizarre, and it was just incredible. And as I'm sitting there listening to it, like I'm weeping on the aeroplane because I used to listen to it when I would fly to Sydney, just because the way she explained it just like captured my brain, and I was like, oh, you know, it very rarely, especially with my weird brain, to sort of like find someone that articulates exactly how I experience the world, because I normally have to sort of translate it for some people. But what's interesting, talking about like way you're having to translate the world. So, look, one of the things we do on this show is we do talk quite, personally about the things we do and experience, and the idea is, that you all come and watch and listen to this show because of us. Like, you can listen to PlayStation shit near on anywhere, but we assume that the reason you come here is for us and who we are and our experiences and our whatever. So I've had an interesting week in that, speaking of understanding brains. So I've talked about it before. So my son, we diagnosed with ADHD back end last year. So he's been doing it for a little while. He recently went from short acting to long acting. His life's incredible. He's having an absolute win. So Max, you've met my ex-wife. You know Millie quite well.
One would say I know her better than you.
Absolutely. Well, you've known her certainly longer than I have. That's absolutely true.
I meant like I know her better than I know you, not I know her better than what you know.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Just a reference.
Yeah, very true.
Yes, I met you through her. We have not been friends for as long. So I
No.
felt like I had to justify myself there instead of sounding like a dick.
Oh shit! But you know her, and if I was to tell you that Millie maybe in fact be on the spectrum, you would go. The noise gate cut you out. What was?
I'm just gonna nod.
Yes, absolutely yes. So, so as for her, she's in the same ways that I X amount of years ago had my process of discovering my neurodiversity, and understanding the world, etc. For me, she's doing in that same path right now, right? And during that, she's gone, we should probably get James tested, my son, because the fact that it's incredibly genetic. And if someone has ADHD, the potential of them also being on the spectrum is pretty high. And you gave the ADHD part really easy, so it's very likely that I gave the autism part. So we should probably get him tested. So we did. And it looks like he is. So we got the letter back, and they've put him as a level 2 on the spectrum out of the 3 levels, 1, 2, 3. The severity is as the numbers go up in terms of the level of supports they need. So it's an interesting week. So at least for me, even though I have someone that worked with kids on the spectrum for like half a decade, when I got that news, it was really like debilitating. Just because it kind of, weirdly enough, I don't see ADHD as a hindrance to life. It can be, most definitely, but I find it manageable because you can manage it with, medication and whatever. It's a deficiency in your brain. Your brain's still different, but it's manageable. So when I got that news, I was like, shit. So James, with a combination of that and that, like, what does this mean? Like, what does the future hold for my boy? And it was really heartbreaking because I had this guilt and shame and fear that he would not achieve the things that he could or would because of the hurdles, the roadblocks, the challenges that he will face as part of his brain. And then saying that though, as we're going through the questionnaire with his pediatrician, and they're explaining all the questions, and then I go, oh shit, I think I'm on that spectrum. Once again, the potential of being both having autism and having ADHD is very high. So that's also been a fun part of my week as well. Sort of having that realization of, am I that too? It would also make a lot of sense in the same way that, ADHD made a lot of sense. So that's fun. But yeah, it's cool because it does help me understand my son better and see him in a not in a different way, because I still see him as the same as I ever have. But there's all these little things that we do to accommodate for him and to ensure that he is happy and having the best life that he can. And we never thought anything different of it just because we just did what made him happy, because we want him to be happy. Whether that be myself or Millie or Phoebe or whomever, we're the three key individuals in this kid's life, and we do a lot of things to ensure that he lives the best life where he's, learning all the things. Yeah, so it's interesting, like to go down that path, and then sort of, look back on myself and go, that makes sense. Because, there are a lot of things that I do. I'm not really good in social situations, but that's also ADHD. I'm very bad at social cues, as I'm sure you can attest to, Max. Yeah. Just a little yeah, you're an idiot. I am very particular. I'm very rigid. For someone that has ADHD, the way I live my life, the way I do these things, I am I like them this way for me. It makes me calm. It makes my brain happy. We do it this way. If you're going to change shit, you need to give me a little bit of knowledge, all right? And then, of course, comes the emotional dysregulation of both ASD and ADHD. So do I go down that path, Max? I don't know. Because unlike ADHD, it can't really be medicated. It can't really be... It would just come with self-understanding and therapy, which I already do anyway. So I'm probably going to think about it. I had a chat with my psych. That's something I'm going to look into. But, yeah. So, look, I guess, Max, as I think I'm demonstrating at this very second, if I was to talk to you and go, hey, pretty sure I'm on the spectrum, and you would probably, very similar to when I got my ADHD, you'd probably go, yeah, checks out.
Checks out.
Yeah, cool.
Pretty much.
Sweet. No, but actually, but genuinely, does it really make sense?
It could fit.
Yeah.
Yeah, in all my vast knowledge and degrees and expertise in the field, that could fit.
But I mean that in terms of we, neurodiverse people, we congregate, we like mind, we magnet to each other. So I'm sure 1,000 people that are on the spectrum, and you're okay, cool, interesting, cool, fun. Yeah, the reason I asked is because you're yes, we out of all the people in my life, there's yeah, my partner who sees me near on every day and gets me, and it's so she had no idea what she was getting fucking into at all. This is a whole thing. Obviously it makes
too late for her now.
Oh yeah, she's too in. There's a small child that's a really big fan of her, so she can't leave. She's kind of locked in. I'm also a big fan too, but I can't really guilt trip her that way. I can guilt trip her this way. Yeah, I forget where I was going. I distracted myself. But there you go. That could be a revelation. So for those that are following, us and what we do, that could be in my future. And I don't even know what I'd do with that information if I got it, because it's not something I can really work with. I can't really fix ADHD either, but I don't know. What's it like being a normie, Max? I hear it's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, mate, who knows? What is normal? Let's be real. What is normal?
I once again, you don't have to answer this question. I just kind of we're in an interesting conversation, not about PlayStation at all. But is that something you've ever considered about yourself?
Not really. I'm one of those. I am who I am, and what's it going to do at this point?
Yeah, look, that is a good point. But into the chat, Mute, one of our regular listeners, absolute legend, says, to me, normal doesn't exist. And I think that's somewhat true. We are all a little bit weird, and there are more people that are weirder than others. And I am definitely one of those weird peoples.
Like if you look through like my history, like especially like school reports and stuff like that, they all read exactly the same.
If Max applied himself,
Max actually the most often phrase was Max does the bare minimum required.
They could have specified your ability to min max near decades ago. You're like, he's going to be an incredible TRPG player one day. He's going to be horrible to play with, but he will be an incredible asset to the party. But yeah, that's like every report card I ever got was Ryan is too easily distracted. Ryan could do so much more if he applied himself. When he does find things that he enjoys, smashes them. It's all the things that check out. But yeah, fascinating times, Max. I'm very interested to see where like that thought process takes me. But is there anything else that was prominent to you this week?
Nah, not at all.
No. Oh, I just thought about it then. So one thing, just to sort of bookend that discussion around neurodiversity. So next week, next Saturday, doesn't affect the show. Don't worry about it. I am doing my first. If I care. I'm doing. So everyone knows I work in the wrestling space as a commentator, as a sound engineer, various things. Next week, I will be doing my first ever ring announcer role. I get to walk out. I'm going to put a nice blazer on. I'll put some pants on, which is helpful. Walking in the ring and be.
Hang on. Sorry, before you go further, are you implying that you don't wear pants when you're not announcing in the ring?
I'm going to commentator's desk, Max. No one ever sees what happens from down here. Right now, you have no idea. It's weird. I have a beanie on. I have a nice jumper on. I should be really toasty, but I'm not because I'm free dicking downstairs. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing going on down there. It's Winnie the Pooh all up in here.
Humphrey be there.
So that's something a little cool. Keep the camera point. Yeah, I'm not gonna stand up mute. It's not gonna happen. We're gonna keep sitting. But once again, so to sort of to coincide with my thought process, because in order to sort of help myself understand my son, and mostly because of the way my brain works, which is also and what I'm about to say is the most fucking autistic thing you can say, is that I'm really bad at understanding the world through someone else's eyes. Even when we have a conversation about something, I'm in my head, I'm contemplating like, okay, how can I not relate this to me? How is what they're saying to me something that I've experienced or have seen that I can try get where they're going, right? So I had that thought process with my boy. And it's like, my fear was that he would not succeed. He'll have troubles at succeeding and not be able to achieve the heights of what he wants. And there was a little bit of grieving involved around that too. But then I thought about, and also shout out to my partner Phoebe for helping me with this too, because I was pretty fucking distraught and I had a good phone call with her and she helped. Same as my dad, the two people that are fantastic. And it was the idea of like, think of all the shit that you've done. I'm like, fuck yeah, I've done some cool shit. Like I've been doing this show for near 350 episodes, most of them with you, which has been incredible. I have a pretty decent job that I got hired for, but just by being me, and all like the skill sets that I've accrued over time. I work in wrestling. I do really cool shit where I get to, next week, as I said, that's what led into this, go stand in the middle of a ring and, announce, some of these colleagues and friends that I've made in my time. I get to sit at a commentary desk and articulate and speak and on what is happening within the match and sort of deliver the main narratives. I've traveled interstate to do this. And then of course this at large, like not just this show, but what I've done for PopC, and the conversations that I had last week before the show, if anyone was paying attention, like that opportunity itself has only happened because of all the various things. That's like everything, all the various things that's achieved, and the way it was said to me, and the way that made sense to me was, you would not have been able to achieve these things if it weren't for you and your brain and how your brain sees the world. Because like I have genuinely curated my world to be around the things I care for the most in this world. That is my son, my friends and family, PlayStation, and wrestling. If it doesn't fit those 4 things, it's not fucking around me.
Fucking nerd.
I know. And like, yeah, so I made oh, you're right.
Fucking dying over here. It's all good.
Well, that's the other thing. Craig got COVID last week from the wrestles, which is great. I sat next to him for like fucking 4 hours doing commentary, so talking directly at him, open mouth. You know, it was the whole thing. Didn't get it. I wanted some time off. Would have been really cool. Nah, didn't get it. But yeah, so that's the wrap of that. The nutshell of that is, it's pretty fucking cool. And those cool things have allowed other cool, not saying that I'm this fucking main character of this story or this world, but like, you know, I've been able to help people, you know, bring them up, assist them, like yourself, Mac. There's so many games and experiences that you've been lucky enough to have, that wouldn't have happened if you didn't 100%. Jump into this bullshit.
100%.
Yeah. It's good times.
Great times.
Speaking of good times, though, like, you know, cool opportunities. Like, one of the great things we get to do with this show is play games. So, Max, what have you been playing?
Yeah, so I was really bad this week.
You might need to talk into that mic a little bit and give a bit of a pivot. There you go.
I was really bad this week. So I did jump in to play the new game mode for Destiny 2.
Oh, how's that bad? You mentioned that you were coming back in.
I'll back into why this is bad, but Destiny 2 have released a new mode called the Pantheon.
Good name.
Yeah, it's fucking Raid Boss Rush.
Oh! Well, that makes sense with the name Pantheon.
So they throw you in each week, they add a boss to the end of the fucking Pantheon.
So it becomes like ongoing weeklies until presumably Final Shape, right?
Until Final Shape drops, yeah. Is my understanding. So this week there was 4 bosses. Next week is 5 and 6 and so on. And then each week it also lowers the power cap. So this week you got to be 5 levels lower. Then it's 10 levels lower, then 15 levels lower, then 20 levels lower to what they refer to as contest mode. So it gets harder each week, more bosses each week, and they add more what's the fucking word they call them? They're essentially like they're mutilators in some games. It's essentially things that affect the way you play the game. So you might get buffs, you might get negative effects.
Okay.
Just depending on the weekly roll. So this week you get a buff if you're using a void weapon or a strand weapon and all this other stuff. And they changed the way the encounters work a little bit. It's fucking awesome. I haven't beaten it yet because I don't have a raid group anymore. So I just played with 5 randoms.
Oh no! Wait, what happened to all the regs?
They all disappeared when Destiny 2 came out. None of them play anymore. It's just me and Noodle left.
Wait, what?
But Noodle was...
Oh, so okay. So hang on. You say you had a dedicated raid group in Destiny 1.
I had a dedicated raid group in Destiny 1.
Yeah.
All the way through Destiny 1. When Destiny 2 came out, most of them fell off.
So have you? It's just been you and Noodle. So Noodle is a mutual friend of ours that I met through Max playing Call of Duty on PS3.
Yeah, we just get on the LFG. We look for a group. We find 4 randos who will take us on, and then complain inherently because those 4 people are shit.
just indignant, like fuck these guys. But we couldn't do it without you.
Because what happens is you join a group and they're like, okay, which role do you want to do? I'm like, I don't care. I can do all the roles. You want me to do ad clear in a room? Cool, I'll ad clear the room. You want me to take the boss's aggro and hold and do the mechanics? I can do that too. I don't mind. You tell me what you want me to do and I'll do it, and I won't let you down. But I'll get pissed off if you pick the easy job and don't do that properly. So, yeah, I got through about 2 of the bosses. There's some bosses that I haven't done before because I haven't done all the raids from my time of falling off Destiny 2.
Yeah, there was a bit of heartbreak, bit of separation in the middle.
We kind of just never got around to doing that raid. I'm just like, whatever. It's too late now.
Can you still go do the raid?
Certainly can.
So if you wanted to go run the raid and like have a real good time understanding this person,
there's incentives. So every week, the raid rotates as to which one gives the bonus gear. So I think there's 7 raids now. So once every 7 weeks, that raid will be up for Thingo, and that's when people will run it because it's obviously very old content. No one just runs it for shits and giggles these days. But yeah, and it's cool. It's a really good way to bring people in, and who doesn't love a good fucking boss rush?
Yeah, and like once again, I can only say this because I literally watched Avengers Endgame, or at least the final battle last night. Cried. It was incredible. It feels like that in terms of like, hey, here is everything that you have experienced. You have dedicated 10 years of your life to Destiny. Here is all the big bads, and you're gonna kick all their shit in, and then welcome to the final run.
And the other thing is, the loot that's rewarded for it are the raid exotic weapons.
Oh, so you don't. So you no longer have to go do the raid anymore because you get.
I can pick the selection of the gun at the end and be like, I don't have this one, therefore I will take that one. Thank you.
That's cool.
Which is cool. It's a nice way to. So far there's only two weapons in rotation, and I have both of them, but that's fine.
In theory, that is like the ultimate equalizer heading into this final DLC.
Well, I think that's what they're trying to do. I think they want people to realize that they can come in. You're gonna get geared up. They've changed the way the power system works, so it's going to be like team-based power now. So it will set the power to the highest team member. So say your power level 1800 and I'm 1850, it will set you to 1850 for the activity that we're doing because we're in a team, but it will still give you loot based on your current power. So you won't have
have things that are locked behind. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, so we're not going to be able to carry you through and like power boost you. You'll still get drops that are like 1, 2, 4 above what you are. But you can come and play the content with your friends and not miss out for being too under-leveled because you haven't played for 3 years or whatever it is.
Very cool.
Which is really good system.
I like that a lot, actually. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I've been playing that. I've been playing more Magic the Arena. I'm still obsessed. I'm playing it daily for daily rewards. I'm playing it on my phone. I'm playing it on PC. I jumped back into Hearthstone for a bit because
the card love has really kicked you in, isn't it?
But League of Legends was the big one that sucked me in this week.
Really?
So they have rotating game modes now whenever an event comes out. And the event that came out this week has my favorite game mode that they've ever released. It's called Arena. And this is their 3rd iteration of Arena. It used to be 2v2v2v2. So you'd queue with a partner. So instead of having 3 lanes, 5v5, it's a single circular arena, 2v2, winner takes all. And you have like a shared team communal hit point, and then each time you lose a round, you'll lose HP, and you'll roll out. Every second round you can buy items. Every other round you'll get an augmentation to buff your character, and it could be anything from like you gain more healing when you're below 40% health, or your attacks deal damage equal to your max HP, and all this crazy stuff. So it's fun. This time around, it's no longer 2v2v2v2. It's 2v2 times 8. So instead of having 4 teams of 2, there's 8 teams of 2.
Oh.
So you verse more people. There's more diversity, which is cool. They've added prismatic items that you only get once per game as a free.
I feel like I hear that word a lot. I really don't know what it means.
And it's just so much fun trying to balance your team comp around what other people have picked. So how it works is essentially each team has like person A and person B. So all of people A pick at once, and then all the people that haven't picked get to see who everyone else has picked, and then we can kind of counter pick their picks. That doesn't always work out because a counter pick for one team may be worse for another team. It may be less synergistic for your own teammate. So you've got to find the balance of working together with your teammate, especially if they've picked a fucking dumb, useless champ, versus what everyone else is picking. I've played every night for like multiple hours just playing this mode. It is so much fun. I love that because they're quick, they're in and out. Like sometimes you're only in them for 5 minutes. If your team, if you just get unlucky and you get really bad augment rolls, you get matched up against really bad matchups, you could lose within like 5 minutes. That's over. So they're really quick, fast-paced games. So instead of, playing the usual 5v5 for an hour, I can smash out a few rounds of this in one go.
Nice.
So I've barely played anything on the PlayStation this week. Played Sea of Thieves with some friends on PlayStation.
Oh, did you pick it up?
No, I played on PC.
Oh.
They were playing on PlayStation. They, for some reason, bought it on PlayStation after they all own it on PC. I don't know fucking why they bought it again. But
so one of the greatest things about Sea of Thieves, because obviously having played it since the release, because back when we covered Xbox stuff, or collectively more, we got a review code. I remember playing it on a literal pirate ship. It was great. So it's cool to be able to talk about it again now that it's on PlayStation. It's been a long time since I played it.
It's been a hot minute since I played it, so I jumped in.
There's a lot extra now.
There's so much extra. I had a bunch of currency that I didn't know I had from like playing it way back when. And like the game is as fun as you make it with your friends. So there was
with no leveling or progression. It's like you have to have fun.
And like everyone's got the same shit. There's no tier weapons to the gear. Like if you've got a sword and he's got a sword, it doesn't matter if they look different. They do the same amount of damage. So we went and jacked some fools of this ship. They were trying to do loot, so they were carrying. We could see them coming off the island with the treasure chests, and I'm like, I could steal their treasure, but it would be funnier if I just stole their boat. So I took their boat, we fucked off, and then they were chasing us. They all ended up. What they did was, it was a brilliant move. 3 of them killed themselves, and they respawned on the ship.
Oh, that's smart. They lose their loot, but they
they left one of their teammates behind with all the loot on the beach. 3 of them killed themselves, fast traveled to the boat, fucked us up, and then sailed back to the island.
Oh, that's awesome!
It was like the ultimate big brain play.
That is big brain play. Actually, cause that is what I remember doing that previously by accident. Like I got killed, spawned back on my ship, and then had to just fight everyone in there. Jerdman says, y'all get any more of those refunds? Or we'll get to that shortly. We haven't even touched on the Helldivers stuff. Haven't even touched on the Helldivers yet. Also in the chat previously, the Mullet Show, good old friend Craig, jumped in and said, I can confirm this. I'm unsure what he was confirming. I was assumed that I'm possibly autistic. I assume that's what he's confirming. Or other nonsense that I said.
So yeah, that was fun. We played for about 2 hours, and
yeah.
it was just general tomfoolery and fuck assing around.
Because that is the tough part that I had with Sea of Thieves was it's great. All the things you mentioned are fantastic. We are all on the same playing field when it comes to our gear, your boat. Like it's all purely cosmetic. So I felt that it was difficult to get that sense of progression. However, like if you go, I will just go do a bunch of chest runs and we'll steal a bunch of shit and we'll use it to unlock a map or something. Like that part's kind of fun, but like it is missing something. But I know that's like by its design, so it's fine because it's the other things that surround it are still brilliant. But for me, like from a long term for a long term playing, it's not going to get me because it's
one of those of like it all seems to just be because there's no objective. I mean, I know that there are objectives in the game, but they're, from what I've seen, far between, and they're not very.
Yeah, and a lot of the
world where games kind of hold our hands a lot these days, and it's like, here's the waymarker. You have 365 meters to get to the waymarker. You've got to go this way, and you can climb this point and go over here, and there's none of that. It's all very clued in.
Yeah, it's. I do praise the game for its. Here's a picture of the island. Go find the island. Go dig holes. That part is really fun because I love the moments where you find the island, you don't drop anchor quick enough, you blow apart your ship on the side of the island. It's the worst, and then you just go dig holes for 20 minutes because you couldn't read a map properly. Best fun. Honestly, I wouldn't mind going back to it now. Damn it. Hopefully I still have the code. It's on my account, maybe. I guess we'll find out. I was going to say something else now. I forgot what it was. Something about Sea of Thieves.
So Fallout 76.
Oh, that's not what it was, but I'll talk about Fallout 76. Holy poo. So that's what I have been. What was that?
Said I'll keep you on track. It's all good.
That wasn't what I was going to talk about, but it is on the money. So yes, I have been playing a ton of Fallout 76 this last week. I touched upon it last show about how it's, you know, getting me interested, tickling my fancies. After watching the Fallout TV series, I'm on like level 23 now, starting from level 1. Having a blast, just wandering around, and very similar to Sea of Thieves, Max, is that it is as the fun that you make it. And as your experience was not that fun last week because of the Microsoft Store being poo. But every time I've jumped in, I'll jump in for a little bit, like during the week, and you know, before work, and I'll just go and I'll do some scavenging, you know, some loose missions or whatever, and then we would come back with myself, my housemate Ange, and Craig. We would team up together, and like it's weird. We don't even do things together because the game itself doesn't allow. Like it doesn't allow for it, in, like in terms of like collectively doing a mission together. Like we all have our own solo missions, and we can just be near each other. So a lot of the time, we're not even doing the same stuff. I mean, we're in a Discord call. we're on the Appalachians. One person's over here, one person's over there, one person's over there, and we're just doing whatever, and then we kind of use each other as fast travel points for that's it. It's like, well, I need to get over there. I'm gonna fast travel to you. All right, cool. Hey, do you have any plans? Yeah. Hey, you got any scrap? Blah, blah. And it is kind of like this. We're sharing this greater world, but we're on our own little adventure. And I guess it sort of aligns with like what you do, because my understanding, Max, at least I haven't seen it in a little while because I think I turned off notifications on the PlayStation, is that like, you know, I would always get pings from that group chat from you and all your buddies, because you would, even if you're all playing separate games, you would still be in a call together and just be bullshitting and doing whatever you want to do. Is that something that you still do a lot of?
No, fuck, no, not at all.
What happened?
None of us are ever in chat anymore, unless we're specifically playing together. None of us are really in chat anymore.
Bizarre. I guess the lack of like DMZ and stuff really kind of.
I mean, the other thing is lately I've been playing a lot of games on the PSN account.
On the PopC account, yeah.
On the PopC account, sorry. So I don't tend to join the chats because then they're all like, "What are you playing?" I'm like,
"Yeah,
can't
I can't talk about it." Yeah.
So
that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that sucks though, because like the chat was fun. Especially when we're playing DMZ back in the day. But obviously DMZ being dead is not very fun. Yeah. So look, really enjoying Fallout 76. It is, once again, very shallow experience, quote unquote, in terms of go here, do that, come back, go find shit, go back. Like it is absolutely just fetch quests and do just a string of things. It is bizarre. I think I mentioned this last week, how better the game is when it's got NPCs in it. That part's incredible. But yeah, so one thing I did check out this afternoon, Max, and
there's one more thing I need to mention.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I also played and finished the Remnant 2 DLC, The Forgotten Kingdom, that came out 2 weeks ago.
Oh, this is where it switches up the entire genre of the game?
No, that was the other
one.
Souls-like Lords of the Fallen.
Oh, my bad.
The Lords of the Fallen.
The Lords of the Fallen.
Remnant 2 is the third-person gun-shooting Souls-like.
I think I know the name, and I know you. I remember you liking the game.
Oh yeah. So we played the new. A friend of mine, Zach, and I, we played through the DLC together. It took us about 4.5 hours to finish it, so we did it over 2 nights. It's fun. Added a cool bunch of new stuff. So the way they work it is the first time you choose to do so. When you play Remnant 2, you get 2 options of playing. You can play the story mode, or you can play adventure mode. And adventure mode rolls just one world adventure, and that's it. You don't play all 4 worlds and do the full story. You just pick one. So when a new DLC comes out, it does the brilliant thing of when you roll the adventure for it, it says, "Would you like to only see new content?" Because it's a randomly generated game. So there's a chance that if you select no, you'll get you'll get the new story content overall, but you'll see a lot of the pre-used dungeons,
Okay.
and you won't see all the new bosses because you'll get old bosses. So you say yes, I want this experience of all the new stuff, and you go through and you get all new stuff, which is cool. So there was like 8 new bosses, bunch of new areas. It's good fun, pretty
I
cool.
like that as a thing.
Yeah.
That is really cool.
So we did through that. We played through that. We unlocked a new class. Did all that fun stuff. The final boss was way easier than we thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
This was the easier boss of it. Even the base game's final boss is fucking dumb. Took us ages to beat. The DLC for the first boss for DLC 1 was harder than this one. We actually found that the hardest boss in this DLC was the very first boss we came against, and it turns out it was only difficult because the boss is fucking bugged.
Oh.
So each of the bosses have augments that are listed beneath their health bar, and it kind of gives you a clue as to what they do. So this boss had iron skin, which means you can't crit hit it. It takes minimal damage. And the other one was Stampede. Now, we had no idea what Stampede was. It was a new augment. We'd never seen it before. Turns out what Stampede is it summons fucking spectral deers to stampede you.
Cool. Well, they kind of explained what it was. Now
Yeah,
that you
right
think
on
about
the-
it.
The problem is, for some reason, they ignored all armor. The second problem was they were supposed to spawn from the boss and rush you. Instead, they were spawning inside our bodies. So if we didn't dodge at the perfect time, it would instantly kill us.
Just because they were in you the whole time.
Yeah, there was no outplaying it. It was dodge or die.
Damn.
So it took us about 45 minutes to beat the first boss in the DLC.
As Smart Show says in the chat, hot.
Yeah, so
Having a flock of deers inside you.
But overall, the story is essentially one of the lost gods curse you until you find one of their items to resurrect them, and then they're like, "Bring it back to me. I'll uncurse you, bro. Totally sweet." So you just go and do it because you've got no choice, really. But it's fun. There's one more DLC left for Remnant 2, so hopefully that won't take too long. I think the first DLC came out in like October, November of last year, and then this one was April, so not too far apart. But yeah. That was it for me.
Nice. Yeah, outside of my sort of dailies or whatever, like it's kind of, I've not really played anything other than Fallout. But one game I did check out today, this afternoon, in fact, time of recording. It is called Graydawn. So I had no idea about this game, like, at all. I haven't heard about it.
I'm pretty keen.
What's that?
Installed and ready to go.
Oh, okay, cool. So this was one of those moments where there's a website that you can use when you work in content creation or as a games press or media or whatever, however you want to classify yourself, where you can normally request codes. Hey, I'd love to review this. This is what my plans are. Blah 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 blah. I literally did it this week for Drug Dealer Simulator 2, and I hope I get it because I can't fucking wait. I'll talk about that game so hard on here. I even said in the thing, I was like, hey, PlayStation show. Get it, it's a PC game, but I love simulation games, and here's why. Thank you, would love you. Thank you, please. But sometimes, if a company feels that this might be within your, like, judging by your profile or the games that you've played, this might be something that'll interest you. I had it recently with that farming VR game, right on the money. Bang, love that shit. This one came the same direction. It was like, hey, here's this game that we have. It's on PC. It's coming to PlayStation. And obviously with what you guys do, we think this would be something you'd like to experience. I was like, sure, why not? I sent it through to you. I'm like, this seems like a cool little psychological thriller. Probably not a very long experience. It might be some fun. And you went, yeah, why not? Cool, because the idea is like, well, I don't want to just accept codes. Like, it's always important for us to as we are a duo, we do all this together. It's worth having that conversation. And you're like, yeah, I'll give it a bell. Why not? Okay. So here's the premise. You play as this priest, whose name escapes me right now. I'm gonna say something Marcus. You are being accused of murdering an altar boy, or murdering a series of children in this orphanage, and you are having to go through a bunch of weirdness to try clear your name, like, is kind of very quickly. Does the principle of like someone has died and you should probably like not be the one accused of it. It turned very quickly into some weird shit, and I genuinely loved it for it. I haven't finished it yet because I got to a point where I was like, oh, I'm running out of time. I've got to come in here and record the show, and it just kind of had its moment. All right, I'm gonna leave it here. I'll come back. It is very much like a AA indie experience, and that's cool. It is very much a what's the game? Not a walk and talk. That doesn't make sense. That's the West Wing. What is it? Not a walking simulator. Walking sim. Yeah, I guess a walking sim. I wasn't thinking that was the name for it, but that does make sense. It's a bit of a walking sim in that, you know, you're in. Originally, I thought it was going to be like an escape room, because you start the game in this room, the door's chained up, and I'm like, holy crap, I'm gonna have to like puzzle my way out of this room. That's kind of cool. And then a bunch of weird demon things happen, and you got to pray to an altar. Like, this game is littered with religious iconography, which makes sense based on the character that you are, but it really kind of like turns it up to like 11 or 666 as one of the puzzle answers are. Spoilers. It really takes it into that weird space. And there are some times where I'm getting a little bit lost, or I'm like, oh, what is it? What is the game wanting me to do? Because it's just a little jank, but it's fun jank. However, because it is in fact that sort of, you know, walking sim, everything that you need is normally in the space that's allocated to you. You just got to look around, you got to find it until a little hand pops up and you can touch something and you can make it happen. What I've experienced so far is you're in a room, you're in an open room, then you come out from that room into this larger mansion, and it's raining frogs for some reason. A lot of, once again, very biblical, very the plagues. You go answer a phone call, and there's a dead woman behind you. That was fun. It's a trophy, by the way. Make sure you turn around and have a quiz. And then you sort of go into this alternate world where the kid that died but they're not dead, but they're in this other dimension, and then you can travel to and from it, and then you get this little music box that changes the seasons, which allows for more puzzle solving. And all of this is once again all wrapped in this religious not undertones, because it's directly there, in this like imagery and tone. And then as you're hearing all these audio logs, it's kind of implying that you had this really debaucherous life before you became a priest. So, you know, it's like, well, where's the hypocrisy in you know, doing like blood orgies and shit and killing goats in forests, but now you're a man of the Lord. And there's a woman in there, she's like, you won't smooch me because you're a man of the Lord, but I know what you've done. So it kind of has this, it sets this interesting like past world, while also having, you know, this cool little, you know, the world that you are in messing about with. And sort of as you do little things and you unlock more, it felt very similar in a deliverable. Did you ever play, I was going to call it Simple Mind, but that wasn't what it was called. It was not called Simple Mind. And I know the game you're talking about. I played a little bit of it. Yeah, it's the one where like there's the guy in the front. It's very psychological based. You're a psychologist, and you're going through the experiences and memories and the world as your clients see it. Yeah. I forget what it was called. If the Reverend Puck was here in the chat, they do lurk, and they're always our fact checker. So I'm sure they'll find it for me. So it feels very similar to that, and that, you know, you're exploring this world, and it's very straightforward, and there's no combat yet, which I really appreciate. I quite like that. It is more you experience the world, and there's a lot of environmental storytelling, and it does look pretty good. It doesn't look immaculate, but because it's choosing to create little smaller, isolated scenarios, it loads impeccably fast. It looks great. Couple of hitches here and there, but only if I swing too fast, or if like a couple little geometry things which are fun. But overall, like for a game that I had no expectation because it just appeared, I'm gonna finish it, and the platinum seems really obtainable. because it's all story-based stuff. It's like, see the first thing of this, find the second thing of that. And granted, there are some that's like, find these icons, which are all like Jesus pictures, which is cool. And you do have to go hunting for them a little bit, but...
It was called In Sound Mind.
In Sound Mind, thank you. Thank you. Good game. But yeah, so obviously, Max, you were keen. I put it out to you. Has anything that I said enticed you further?
So obviously, when you sent it to me, you're like, "Hey, here's the trailer." I look at the trailer. The first thing, to be in all seriousness, I looked at it and went, "This looks like it's going to be a short game. This is achievable. I've got a fair bit on my plate at the moment." I jumped on the YouTubes. I saw that there was a full game walkthrough that lasted about 2 hours and went, mint, beautiful. It's what I'm looking for right now. Downloaded it, was eager to play. I'm liking this. It gives you the spiel of, you're a priest who's trying to essentially prove his innocence. Like, this sounds cool. I like those kind of interactive walking games where it's, combat light, if non-existent at all sometimes. And then obviously I got distracted through the week and I just haven't had a chance to sit down with it. But I'm very much looking forward to Burley. It looks like one of those games you can kind of knock over in a sitting or two, which is what I'm looking for at the moment. But yeah, it did look some of the screenshots, because this game is it's only recently come to PlayStation, but it has been out on PC for like 2 years, I think.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So it's very much it does look interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing how it kind of plays out and how it resolves the murder mystery of it all.
Yeah, because it's murder mystery plus, like, it just kind of sprinkles all this extra stuff on it. Hopefully, I will. I'll have it more to say in next week, because I will roll credits on it, because as I mentioned, and essentially what I've alluded to is that I booted up being like, meh, and then very quickly I went, hello, oh. Because there was a game that I played that was another very similar game. It was called In Ray of Light or something like that. So it is a weird name, but it's kind of, and it's very similar principle. Like you're exploring this post-apocalyptic world where there is nobody, and it's really harrowing because of it. But it's the same thing as you just walk around, experience the world, and the world will tell you the story.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited for that. I'm enjoying that. All right. But that's transition into the section we call Inform the Players. We tell you about what happened this week. Now, nothing really, controversial happened. It's been a pretty chill week for PlayStation. Is that right?
Democracy has fallen.
What?
Democracy has fallen.
Oh, dear God. Someone call... Oh, what was his name? Gerard Butler. He did Olympus Has Fallen. That was a good movie. Don't call him. He probably won't either answer or care. So, democracy.
Liberty has been abandoned.
Oh, someone has spilt the liberty.
So, this week, it was announced that to continue playing Helldivers 2 on PC, you would be required to link a PlayStation Network account to be able to log in and play. Since that happened, hundreds of thousands of negative reviews on Steam. It has gone from the most loved game this year to quite possibly the most hated. And in the last few hours, Sony has effectively doubled down on that decision to require PC players to log into a PSN account to keep playing Helldivers 2 from the 4th of June this year, by delisting the game entirely in countries where the service isn't officially available. For those playing at home, it's around 177 countries. So all those people have been able to purchase the game because it's on Steam. Now that they require a PSN, they cannot have a PSN due to the terms of service of Sony. Therefore, the game that they purchased can no longer be played. Well done. Sony appears to be unwilling to budge on its original requirement to sign into a PSN account when playing on PC. There are reports of PC users getting full refunds for the game despite having played significantly longer than the 2-hour grace period Steam offers. Sony requires all PC users to log into a PSN account by the 4th of June to continue playing, something that the company has mandated upon the game's original launch, but was switched off temporarily so that the developer Arrowhead Studios could better handle its unexpectedly huge player base. For years now, it has been possible and freely accepted that anyone can sign up for a PlayStation Network account tied to practically anywhere in the world. This is how Helldivers 2 players on PC would have to keep playing the game, despite the Sony service not being officially available in that country. However, this new move from Sony could scare people in those countries off from doing so. The decision to demand a PSN account from the next month has drawn over 100,000 negative Steam reviews. If you look over at the Arrowhead's Discord community chat, players making this is from Spitz, they're one of their community liaisons. Players making their displeasure known through reviews, refunds, etc. gives us more pull in the discussion with Sony. They don't read our Discord. It hurts to see the game's popularity suffer in ratings, but discussions are ongoing and our team is on the side of the players in this fight. It is unrealistic to expect people to make PlayStation Network accounts in different regions just to bypass the account linking requirement. We are aware of that. Discussions are ongoing. Yeah, Steam's just giving you your money back. If you want it, they'll do it. Doesn't matter how long you played it for. That 2-hour grace period doesn't mean dick at the moment.
Normally I'm the ranty one. This is something that has got you a little bit heated in the last day. So I'm going to let you have some fun.
So there's the mixed bag. There's obviously, I put a video in our chat last night and it's a pretty viral video at the moment. It's basically a guy going, "Oh, you want to play Halo on PC? Need an Xbox Live account. Want to play Rainbow Six Siege on PC? You need an Ubisoft account for that.
Want to play Red Dead Redemption?
Want to play Red Dead Redemption 2? Need a Rockstar account for that one. Want to play Helldivers? Need a PlayStation Network account? Fuck you."
Yeah.
Look, I get it. I don't like having extra launches. I don't like having extra shit linked. It sucks. This seems dumb. They didn't have it at launch because it didn't work properly, is my understanding from all that I've seen. To reintroduce it now, knowing that they've willingly and knowingly sold it to people in countries that can't even legally own it due to breaking their own terms of service now, is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard of in my life. They had made an absolute banger with Helldivers 2. It was the most loved game. Now it's not. Why are they doing this? Like, what is the point? Now, there's talk that it's to introduce the new overlay that was rumored to be coming out with the launch of Ghost of Tsushima 2, Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut for PC later this month. Why introduce it to a game that's already out? Why not launch it alongside a new title? Start fresh from there. They're not going to retroactively backdate everything. I'm not going to have to, next time I play God of War on PC, log into my PSN account. Like, just let it go. You had a winner. Why are you fucking shooting it in the face? Don't do this. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Because Arrowhead is still an independent game developer, they're not owned by Sony. Sony's just publishing this.
And they're financially invested in it. That's second party. They own the IP.
Yeah, why? Hey, why are they doing this? Fucking dumb. Fucking dumb.
So
stupid.
I think there's two arguments here, and and two of them have very different responses because of it. The first argument is, why should I have to make a PSN account? And the answer is, shut the fuck up, just do it. You've done it with all the other services. Just do it. If you are able to. But I think the communication around this, in terms of the feedback and the discourse, I should say, is, I want to make a PSN account. People have 1,000 accounts. People have burner emails just for the various accounts that you have to have on your computer.
That is, it's something that I didn't have to do at the launch of this game. Why now, 4 months down the track, I'm being forced into it?
That goes alongside it, right? The being required to do so, that is also an issue. I'm pretty sure that has happened in the past. I can't provide a specific example, but in my memory, there has been a time where I've been playing something and it's like, yeah, you can't do this unless you log into your 2K account.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so look, Rocket League did it when Psyonix got bought by Epic.
Yep.
They're like, hey, can you sign in with your Epic account? Because we now own this thing. It's now ours. We're bringing it into our infrastructure. we're going to use our shit. Cool, that makes sense. You've purchased the company and brought them into the fold.
Yes, but Sony owns this game.
That is different to, but they didn't do it at launch. They're not changing hands. If it's something that they wanted for it to be done, it should have been there at launch, and it wasn't.
Look, okay. We'll go on. I'll wrap up my thoughts on that first part, and then we'll head into the second part. So the first part, yeah, just make a fucking account. It's not that hard. Like there are literally been times where I have gone to do something, and it's like, yeah, you can't progress until you log into your 2K account. I'm like, I'm playing on my PlayStation. I don't what I fucking need a 2K account for, because you need a 2K account. I'm like, all right, sure, whatever, and I do it. Right, and it's fine. Like, in order for me to play multiplayer, in order for me to set up multiplayer for Diablo 4 with my son and my ex-wife, because my son uses my PlayStation at his place, I had to get my Blizzard account reactivated because I don't use it because I don't fucking play Blizzard games, and because it's been the last time I used it was when I played WoW in like 2011. I had to scroll through all my old emails to find anything that says that I own these games, because Blizzard made it so painfully hard to just like, hey, can you remove the key thing on my account? And because you can't just change it. They're like, well, you need to prove that you are this person. Blah, blah, blah. There's all these 1,000 steps just to play a part of Diablo, which is online, and granted, Helldivers is entirely online, slightly different in that sense, but like a huge portion and a fundamental key part of that game was locked behind needing an account. Granted, I could still play the game if I had so chosen to. I could still play single player Diablo. That's lovely. That's fun. That's great. However, in order to most publisher supported requires you to have a bullshit account. I have a bullshit Bethesda account. I don't want one. I just want to play fucking Fallout. And then you needed it. I'm like, okay, sure, why not? I hate it, but I got it. Rockstar launcher sucks hard ass. But in order to play any Rockstar games on PC, you need it. That is part of that. If part of the ubiquity, the huge freedom that is the PC system, the PC marketplace. These are things that you need to do. These are what's the word I'm looking for? Starts with C. Concessions. These are the concessions that you need to make in order to do these things. However, this is that second part where the second part comes in. The fact that they have implemented this after freely selling it to countries that they cannot make a PSN account for whatever reason, whether it's because the PSN is not provided in that country, consoles are not provided in that country. Like there are some, like I know Brazil as an example, they still play fucking Genesis and shit because the tariffs on getting those consoles there is so ridiculous that they simply just don't have a PSN to support Brazil as an example. That's a lot of where it comes from, right? So the only way that these individuals can play these games is through PC because of Steam and its worldwide appeal. Creating this, which then goes, you need to do this to play. Well, we can't make one here. Well, you better not make one with a VPN because we'll block that account that you just made. We'll can it. We'll ban it. That is dumb. Absolutely dumb. And shout out to Steam for being willing, or at least given the okay to do so, to refund those people because they damn well deserve that refund. Like that level of restrictive behavior is stupid, and it's just PlayStation being PlayStation. I love PlayStation as a company in terms of the things that they deliver, but it's as simple as you fucked up. You made a call and you fucking made the wrong one.
But it also doesn't serve a purpose for them. Like the game runs without needing a PlayStation Network. The framework still works regardless if you sign in or not because the game's been running for months. They're not purchasing DLC through the PlayStation Store
currently.
even when linked with a PlayStation Network account. You're still going to be buying it through Steam. You're not going to be buying it through a PlayStation Network account. So they're not going to see a higher revenue split from having an account linked. It's not like they're not doing it for a monetary reason. They're just doing it because they're fucking doing it for some reason.
No, I don't think it's that simple. I don't think it's as simple as we just want to do it so you have PSNs. Like, yes, it could be as simple as, well, it's going to bolster our PSN numbers and that's fantastic, right? Cool. That would be great. I don't think it's that simple because that is genuinely like idiot. I think it's a way to either track data in terms of they can see these people, if they log in with their PSN, they have access to their player profile for Helldivers 2. They can see what they do, how they play, and which in turn provides more data that they can give to Arrowhead, or they can see from internal metrics that allows them to think about what they're going to do in their live service plan moving forward.
Exist in Steam's backend that they would have access to
If
regardless.
there's a lot of presumptions here, right? I absolutely am with you. It's very likely Steam has that information and passes it on. But what if they don't? I'm trying to think of reasons as to why you would make this call. The other reasons are Arrowhead is being purchased soon. That's possible. A weird way to lead into it, but it's possible. There might be a change in how DLC operates. That's very, very unlikely. I believe the answer is they want not your personal data. They want player data, because they're going to use that data to then have a look into what their games of service that are coming up, because they've seen Helldivers 2 and gone, ooh, this is a really successful game. It's sticky. People are loving it. People are playing it. How can I ruin that? That's not what their thought process was, but it's essentially what happened. That's me. I don't think it's as malicious as that. Because as Mute in the chat points out, they don't believe it's bolstering PSN accounts because not all the countries that are there can make them. So like, and then once again, PSN numbers are not reflective of like dollars in the same way that Game Pass numbers or PS Plus numbers are, because you can still play it on PC, even if, because my Helldivers player thing on Steam is connected to my PSN. I didn't give a shit. I was like, yeah, sure, why not? But once again, the circumstances of me and how I play and the systems that I have access to, it wasn't an issue for me. But I do understand the issue for those countries that are affected, and they are getting the result. Like, this decision was made. If they were not being able to get refunds, then we'd be having a very different conversation.
I mean, the other thing that I brought up is that fucking PlayStation Network gets hacked every Tuesday afternoon.
That's absolutely true. Security is it's better. It's better because we get system stabilities every update. However, like, yes, it was also 2011. It has been 12 years, and apart from the whole Insomniac thing,
no, I think
that's pretty huge.
I'm pretty sure there's been PlayStation Network leaks since 2011.
Okay, no, but in terms of complete breach and shutdowns, right? If you have an online service, you're being bombarded constantly. We host our own website. We host our own podcast server. We get fucking DDoSed all the time. Like, there are times where, when you ever got one, hey, why did an episode not go up at 8 o'clock? It's because our fucking website got blasted so hard that I can't log in for 24 hours. No matter who you are and you run an online service, it will happen. PlayStation fucked up so hard back then because their servers were built on fucking popsicle sticks and gaffer tape and paper clips. I would certainly hope it's gotten better.
7,000 current and former employees from PlayStation had their data breached in October of 2023. In September of 2023, 260 gigs of proprietary data was stolen from Sony. In August 2017, they were hacked. In November 2014, they were hacked. In 2011, they were hacked 4 separate times. Like, it's not great.
No, it's not great at all. But that's also looking at that information in total isolation. I imagine if you pull up all the other services, many of them aren't communicated. But I assure you that there has been breaches everywhere, and a lot of them have been resolved behind closed doors. I'm not ignorant in the idea that like the system sucks. But I'm also ignorant in the idea that all services get blasted.
To me, the big no-no was they knew that they were going to put this in place, and they willingly and knowingly sold it to people in countries knowing that they would never, ever be able to play it again, and they took their money no matter what.
Correct. Like that I completely agree with. I cannot dispute that in a second.
That seems like a bit of a dick move.
Absolutely. Like, that is genuinely fucking dumb. And I do hope, and I don't think we will, I would like to know the reason. I want to know the answer. And we'll never get it because PlayStation don't speak. And like, they only speak when it's beneficial for them, it's a state of play, whatever. And they're not going to address it in a state of play, even though allegedly there might be one at the end of the month. That the comment section on that is going to be real fucking gnarly. In the same way that right now you go to any PlayStation Twitter feed and everything is hashtag Free Stellar Blade. It's like, hey, happy Star Wars Day. Hashtag Free Stellar Blade in the comment. And everyone in the comments like, whoa, I want my fucking titties. Where's my titties at? Screw Star Wars. They don't have naked titties. Stellar Blade has titties. Hashtag Free Stellar Blade. Oh, God damn it. All right, well, look, for any reason, look, you do have a PSN account and you have PS Plus. That's rad. You get free games every month. These are the games that are coming out for the month of May. It is EA Sports FC 24 for PS5, PS4. So that's what was FIFA. Now it's FC. And it's free. Woo. Ghost Runner 2 is coming to PS5. Dope, speedy, first-person parkour game. Don't play if you know how to vom really well. Tunic, coming to both PS5 and PS4, was kind of a very Zelda-y, Oceanhorn, very hard in terms of puzzles. Little game, looked cool. Glad to play it. I didn't want to pay for it. And then Destiny 2 Lightfall is both coming to both PS5 and PS4. Alongside was it Witch Queen and a couple others that were free as part of PS Plus. This is pretty cool. You do need to have obviously Destiny 2 to play it. This is DLC. Destiny 2 is free to play. Not an issue. Yep. Excellent. Any of them jump out at you, Max?
Tunic's great.
Oh yeah. Well, you checked out Tunic.
Yeah, Tunic's great.
Nice.
The FIFA is good. No, the artist formerly known as FIFA is good. Ghost Runner 2 is great. So yeah, bang a month.
Yeah, it is a good month. Obviously not so great for you because you've played them all, but
I think I actually own all of those games.
Yeah. Also, big thank you to EA for providing us a review code for FC. Max got to play it. Had a ton of fun.
Still have a ton of fun.
Oh, that's good to know.
Alrighty. All right. Upcoming updates. Fucking nail this one. Sony will add a new feature to PlayStation 5 later this year, allowing users to invite others to a multiplayer game by generating a shareable link on the console or via the PlayStation app. This link can then be shared on social media or via direct message, allowing AFK, offline, or even players you aren't friends with yet to secure a spot. Announced over on the PlayStation blog, Sony's Senior Director of Product Management and Platform Experience, Sabrina Meditz, described how this as yet unnamed feature could be used for, quote, for example, if you just met some new friends on your favorite social platform, you can send them a PS5 session invite in the same chat and start playing together right away without needing to add each other as friends on PlayStation 5 first, end quote. Medit says this feature complements existing methods of joining a session from within a PS5 game and will work consistently for all supported games. Some PS5 titles may need a small update, but Sony will collaborate with development partners to ensure they work seamlessly. Further, a unique PS5 widget has been developed for Discord, which dynamically refreshes to show the multiplayer session status so you'll know if it's still active before joining. I want a fucking widget, just give me native Discord on my PlayStation so I don't have to fucking jump on the other app to be like, send this chat to my PlayStation, please. I mean, that's cool. I don't see a huge need for it. Like, I'm not going to meet someone on Facebook and be like, oh, this is cool. Here's my shareable link to play with me later. You know what I say in that sense? I'm just like, what's your PSN? And I'll just fucking add you. And when you're online and I see you online, I'll just shoot you a message then.
Yeah, it is what it varies on the individual on the need of this, right? So what makes
cool for streamers to interact with their
that was gonna be my point.
Come fucking play with me later. Jerd's like, I'm playing Gang Beasts later, everybody. Fucking come play with me.
It's true.
Or whatever.
Jerd has played Gang Beasts
these days. I think I've seen him play it once.
Yeah. But that in itself is a good concept. So I know it's been talked about if you listen to PS Beyond back in the day, or Sacred Symbols, or don't listen to PS I Love You anymore because they just canned it. Because apparently it's unsustainable to have a platform specific podcast. They have talked about how they were like the first people to max their PS friends list. Like so much so that there were games that couldn't be played because the devs had never considered how the game would respond if someone had the maximum number of friends you can have. So yeah, from a content creator, streamer, celebrity sort of setup, that's really cool. I'm down for playing with people, but I don't want to be everyone's fucking friend also as well on PlayStation. Like, there are amazing people I meet in my life that I will refuse to add them on social media because I, like, it's example, my Facebook's mine. Cool. And obviously with us and with PSN, you don't want people like randos in a thing and then be able to see like what we're playing and then like not always the best depending on what we're playing. I like it as a principle because once again, you can the challenge that you have, Max, as me, someone who seems really cool initially, and then a little bit later you go, this person's fucking weird, and I don't want to associate with them anymore. It happens all the time. This is a free out. Like, oh, this guy seems cool. Yeah, I'll play some games with him. Oh God. Oh, how do I unfriend them without like also? You know,
like, well, I was about to say, you know what else is a free out? Just unfriend them.
Yeah.
Like, most of the people I play online with, I'll never see in my day-to-day life. Doesn't matter. Half the people in my friends list are fuckwits from, like, Destiny 2 LFGs that I just never got around to deleting because I did a raid with them that one time before you could just send invites through the app. You had to send them a friend request and join that way. I have tons of people who are just like, Destiny 2 raid? No.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be nice to not have to have that?
Yeah, I just remove them. That's fine.
It's true.
I'm very callous.
Yeah, if you don't see them as people, I guess that's pretty helpful.
Yeah.
And as someone that does not play multiplayer like anything, really, it's not really a big win for me. But thinking outside myself, it is quite a cool principle to be able to like connect with someone but not have to like be their friend, because you know it's social anxiety but digital. It's very exciting. You just called this one Cash Flash, Max. I don't know what that is implying, but I like where it's going. A few weeks back, a report from the New York Times suggested that Sony was currently in talks with a moneyed partner in Apollo Global Management to buy the legendary picture house Paramount. Well, the twosome has now drawn up terms, reportedly making an all-cash offer of $26 billion with a B, a billion.
How many briefcases do you reckon that is?
I don't know. Depends. Like, deal or no deal, they like have a whole briefcase for 50 cents. So it's tough to know. I imagine it's multiple. And then Dodgeball, it's seen from Dodgeball, and then like 10,000, it's like one wad. It's like movies have ruined how impressive a wad of cash is. But I guess the question is like, how much was in the storage room in Breaking Bad that they did the money angel on? Like, that seemed like billions. I'm sure it's approximately 1 to 2 stacks to Walter White stacks.
Well, I think he only had millions, right? This is billions, and 26 of them.
Oh, that's a very good point. They never expressed billions. Damn, that's so many barrels to bury in New Mexico. So if this multi-barrel deal were to be accepted, it would open up Paramount's stockpiled IP for future collaboration. Ryan.
Nailed it.
They got there in the end. So a new report, this time from the Wall Street Journal, thanks PlayStation Update, according to this, Max, says that the extremely liquid offer, cash, previously has been made. So previously, Apollo had made an independent bid, again for $26 billion, plus equity, but the Wall Street Journal reports that there are concerns the firm wouldn't be able to secure the necessary financing. So Skydance Media, which they've been involved recently, they're working on the upcoming Star Wars game, I think. Was that one? I think so. Not Skydance Media, Skydance Games, but fucking bigger company. Amy Hennig works there now. Is reportedly the other front runner for the purchase. But shareholders at Paramount were concerned that the specific deal would give controlling shareholder Shari Redstone too much power. So it remains to be seen if the bid will be accepted, but Skydance's exclusive negotiating window is about to expire, so it seems that Sony wants to get in while the getting's good. And obviously we'll keep an eye on this as it develops. So this is obviously more a Sony thing rather than a PlayStation thing. However, as of right now, PlayStation doesn't support a Paramount Plus app. So if they buy them, does that mean I get an app now? That'd be cool. Thanks.
I don't use Paramount Plus.
Yeah, it's fine.
And
If you want to watch like ridiculousness, you can do that because there's like 30 seasons and there's 1,000 episodes. South Park's on there.
I mean, they've all
That's about it.
all the streaming services have just got dumb names now.
Yeah.
Like the one that stands out the most is like Max, the one to watch for HBO.
Well, you like it just because it says Max.
I'm just like, why are you watching me for HBO?
I still like Binge. Binge is a good name. It checks out because what you do. Stan, I think's the weirdest one, but it worked because everyone knows Stan. What else is there? That's about it, really.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best ones is Fight, F-I-T-E,
Okay.
and does exactly what it is. It's just a app for wrestling and boxing and
that horror one.
Thrill House. No, it's not called Thrill House.
No, it's called like
Slasher or
Shiver or something.
Shiver or Sliver. Stabber.
Stabber. Shutter. It's
Shutter. Yeah, that's pretty good. Reddit Type R says, I like Binge for the WWE. I do like Binge for the WWE. One of the advantages of not having to pay for another subscription. That rules. Because I was watching Backlash on it today. And holy crap, that crowd in France was insane.
Even I heard the crowd in France was
insane. They were treating it like it was a fucking soccer game. And it was awesome. Because they're just like chanting in French because they're in France. So like, it just becomes this noise, but it's fun because
like oui.
Because even the counts, obviously 1, 2, 3. They go un, deux, sacre bleu. It was awesome. They're not actually saying sacre bleu, but it sounds like it, and I guess I'm a little racist, but it was funny. It was so good because they're chanting and they're having a blast. No one has any idea what's happening. In the ring, no clue, whatever. Except one thing, they chant, "This is awesome." Apparently, that is universal. I quite like that as a concept. But yeah, Stan's pretty cool. Netflix is fine, I suppose. Rated Type R. To add to that, they sung the entrance songs louder than the actual music. That was also incredible. Like I sing Randy Orton's song when he comes out because I love the Randaddy. But to hear like an 11,000 sold out seat arena collectively singing songs.
A clip of the video camera was shaking because
they are just like giving it their all, and like the camera's having a real hard time. It's awesome. Like I know we're tangenting, it's what we do, but like wrestling is at it's the same peak that we saw in the Attitude Era. Like right now, like every show's pretty much sold out. It's huge, it's loud, it's massive. Max, I know you never want to get into it, but if you ever wanted to, now's the time. Just saying, it's gonna be crack. It's gonna be awesome. But in terms of buying Paramount, cool. I have an issue. I say that with the full understanding that mergers and acquisitions can get wrecked. I'm glad it's not going to Disney. I don't think Disney are dumb enough to buy another one.
They would be allowed to.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think they'd even consider it because they'd go, especially on the back of the Microsoft stuff. There is a Microsoft doing the ABK acquisition, which also, fun fact, in the terms of their financials, they would not have been successful if they had not bought ABK. They would actually be losing money. So it's still poo. But it's great because now we get Xbox games. But I forgot my train of thought. I started pooing on Microsoft, got distracted. Mergers and acquisitions are dumb. So because of that ABK deal, I can assure you that like there is such a bigger look at M&As, and they're like, yeah, they're not going to sit lightly anymore. People are going to have to really think about it, which is fun.
Well, let's talk about thinking outside the square.
Oh.
So Square Enix appears to have cancelled or at least rescoped the size of multiple unannounced games as a result of an internal review into its development process with a, quote, content disposal loss totaling 22.1 billion yen, or about 141 million. As a result of the investigation, the publisher shall, quote, revise the group's approach to the development of high-definition games with the intention of being more selective and focused in the allocation of development resources. The internal study of Square Enix's development process was revealed earlier this year when President Takashi Kiryu said, quote, we are reviewing from scratch what the organizational structure is to materialize the contents of the pipeline and what is best, end quote. The result, as shared earlier this week, suggests that the publisher has streamlined its future content output as it records a $141 million loss due to work on titles that will no longer see the light of day. The unannounced games in question have not been confirmed, Final Fantasy IX. According to
remake.
VG, Square Enix is eager to, quote, reduce the amount of development it outsources to external studios and wants to focus on in-house development for its more high-profile titles, with the aim being to increase both quality and profit margins, end quote.
Obviously, you're the big Square guy, Max. What's your thoughts?
It sucks to see that they're kind of going to put things like their HD remasters on the back burner, because a lot of the stuff that Square have sitting in their vault of IP is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But it makes sense when you look at the fact that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth did not do as well as they anticipated on the back end of the fiasco that was Marvel's Avengers. They kind of need to take a look internally and be like, we need to focus on what we're doing and pick the best of the bunch for a little while.
Absolutely. So, because I agree with you almost entirely. Like it is one of those things where they've looked at that. Obviously, Avengers was a huge misfire, and then of course, what's that other online service game that we got a code for? And you went, this is ball bags.
I was so keen. It was like Babylon's Fall.
Babylon's Fall. That was.
I think it's literally in a PS5 folder being like absolute guy. It was the most. I had never been more disappointed in a game. It was like a PS2 era game.
So
disappointing.
They were talking. So it's no joke. No surprise. I listen to other PlayStation podcasts. So Sacred Symbols this week, they talked about it as well, and they actually provided like a list of all of Square Enix releases for the last 3 years, and they flooded the market. Like they went from, rather than releasing things every couple of months, they went here. So they just blasted like this 3-4 month window with about 6 games, and they all chewed each other out. They cannibalized each other. They were unable, because Square Enix is fantastic, but they do have a very dedicated hardcore audience, and they've catered to a very specific market. So by doing that, by dropping a bunch of games in a small window of time, they're pushing the wallet of those individuals. It almost felt like a setup to fail, in that they released these games, went, oh, whatever, and then they had the luxury of going, well, it didn't meet expectations, like not highlighting the fact that they made the mistake, and they're the ones that put it out there in bad time, and then they went, yeah, but you didn't buy it, so I guess we won't do that anymore. And that is, I think, the key part of it, because and there's live services that they've tackled in the past, like Babylon's Falls, like Chocobo Racing. There were, apart from Final Fantasy 14, obviously, which is still pretty huge, but there's a bunch of Square Enix supported and/or created live service attempts that didn't go their way. It looks like, have you picked up a list?
Yeah, it's all out of order though. It's really hard, but there was like 20 odd games. Like a lot of them were shorter titles as well, and with sequels or DLCs. But yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, it's a similar issue that I have with like what Warner Brothers did with the likes of that Looney Tunes Wile E. Coyote movie, and Batgirl, Batgirl, where they just went, if we don't release this, technically we can write it off as a loss, so no one will ever see it. So like, removes the potential for it to make money. And obviously it was some of them, I assume, probably bad ideas, but they thought about them enough and considered them enough to back them, at least initially, right? So I can Final Fantasy 9, I believe, is like one of the most loved Final Fantasies. So it's an interesting decision that they are choosing to not to do that. However, they got to finish 7 first. Was it? Sorry?
Yeah. I said we don't know if 9 was on the list. Like, it could have been, it could have been anything. Yeah,
it could have been goddamn anything. Yeah, it's frustrating in that sense, but it's only frustrating for those that are willing to look into financial docs. I don't think the average consumer would. Yeah. So that no one will really know that this happened. It's more of a looking at the industry at large. I think that's where the key part of this. What, in your opinion, Max, do you see this as a reflection of the tumultuous industry that is video games right now?
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, it's the last few games that they released didn't release to what their expectations were. So they're like, hey, if if the ones that we believed in the most aren't pulling in the numbers we need or we're expecting, like Final Fantasy VII Remake, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, they're like, hey, maybe we should really think about what we're putting out next, because if we're not selling gangbusters with like our guaranteed heavy hitters, how are these going to perform in an already disastrous economy of stuff? So
do you think
it makes sense for them to be like, hey, maybe this isn't the way to go. We put these on the back burner for now. We write them off as losses, and we pick up where we left off with something else. We assign our people differently. So instead of taking 4 years to make the next to make part 3, we can churn it out in 2 years.
Yeah,
instead of 4. Like,
that part I agree with in terms of like
teams
redistributing talent,
where we need them, as opposed to have them work on things that probably destined to fail.
But do you think this is a circumstance of them needing to adjust their expectations? Because once again, Final Fantasy 16 sold like 8 million copies or something, and they're like, nah, it didn't meet whatever arbitrary bullshit expectation we had.
Yeah, well, I guess one of those things is their expectation is they're going to make their money back on what they've put into it in developmental costs, marketing costs, all of that.
Yeah, see, I obviously that would be the ideal, but I assure you that made its money back. Like, it broke even, because the 8 million copies, you're breaking even. Guaranteed. Once again, not knowing off the top of my head how much that game would cost, but it's not about just making money. It's about making all the money, making more the money. So hence why so many games are like loaded with those micros and stuff now. It's because it's not just about making the money back. It's about making more, because you can run a business on just meeting back what you spent. But it is about profit, because they are publicly traded companies. Therefore, they do need to make profits. And I think the issue is that these games won't sell well. The issue is it's not making it will not make enough profit for us to be worth doing, because of the communication we're going to have with our shareholders. And I think that is just a downright problem of capitalism, right? Because the understanding of capitalism, exponential growth, every financial year you must make more money. You can never have a decline, where sometimes it doesn't fucking happen. That's why they have layoffs, because the layoffs aren't we can't afford, because we're hearing conversations of companies going, we're having record profits, so we're going to fire a bunch of people. Like, that's not done because they can't afford them. Clearly they can afford them. The decision is made that we're not making enough money. They're making more than enough money to support these individuals and keep them fed and housed and supported, but it's not enough. They're
trying to get that bottom line.
Exactly. And that's the bigger problem of business at large. Not that I'm some big commie or left-leaning individual, but capitalism's awesome. It allows me to do some really cool shit. It also sucks in some days too. I love a good rant. Max.
Quick bits.
Let's go. Or is it me? Or is it you?
I don't know. I'm doing it anyway. Fallout TV show hit 65 million viewers.
Sweet. Have you watched it all yet?
Not yet.
What?
I haven't started.
Are you just being like belligerent, or are you just?
I'm watching Charmed.
Oh yeah. I'm
gonna finish what I started.
How deep are you in Charmed?
Magic School.
Ooh, what season's that? Like
7?
I was gonna say 6.
It's just before Penny from Big Bang Theory. I can't think of her actual name.
Oh yeah, and they have the heartogram. Like, they have this in the show. It's one of the most bizarre things in the world.
Yeah. But every episode I watch, I'm like, I know that person. Apparently, every single famous person was on Charmed before they made it big.
Oh yeah, that checks out.
Including bands.
Including
bands.
Oh, also,
you were big when a band played in the club at Charmed.
Yeah, well, what were they called? What was the name of the club? P3. My dad unapologetically adores Charmed, so I've watched a lot of it over my time.
He would.
I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, no.
No, I'm committed to one thing before I move on to the next.
Well done.
Returnal art book and graphic novel was the thing that was teased from Housemarque to celebrate their 3rd anniversary. Not
Dude,
Returnal 2.
That was so pooey in that they're like,
Not
Returnal,
really.
Housemarque were like, hey, here's fucking Celine's face, get excited. And then everyone's like, oh. And then Dark Horse retweeted and everyone went, oh.
Xbox have confirmed that there's a June showcase. They're going to do an Xbox showcase, and then right after it, they're going to do a Call of Duty one.
Oh, sweet. That's kind of cool.
Well, they didn't say it's Call of Duty, but it's Call of Duty.
It's clearly Call of Duty.
Call of Duty.
That makes sense. Once again, it's E3 time. Okay, Shakara. They're like Xbox, unlike PlayStation, have been doing it. So win.
Alan Wake 2 has yet to recoup its dev marketing expenses.
Yeah, makes
they've
sense.
sold 1.3 million copies of the game.
And the game was made relatively cheap too, but they marketed it really, really hard. Because they self-publish? They did self-publish. No, they went through Epic.
Yeah, but they were through Tencent at the time.
That's a good point. Because it's been one of those things where, if they are eating the money, that's poo. Like, if Remedy have to suck it, that's they probably would have to now.
And apparently XDefiant is coming out this month.
Oh, really? I did see some tweets about it semi-recently. I know our good friend of the show, MGB, is very keen for it. I played it a little bit, and I was like, I like that's a hero shooter, but it's all Ubisoft platform, whatever. Did you check it out?
No.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. And Miyazaki announced in an interview this week that Shadow of the Erd Tree is the first and last DLC for Elden Ring.
How does that make you happy and or sad?
It's fine. It's apparently massive. So
hot.
Yeah, should be right.
I will probably not check it out, to the surprise of no one. These are the games that are coming out this week. On the 8th of May, you get The Prisoner of the Night. Nami Sextape, PS5, PS4. 9th of May, Animal Well coming to PS5. Crow Country coming to PS5 and PS4. This is a game that I'm generally like super keen. I've reached out to the PR team the other day. So this is the very Resident Evil inspired PS1 energy game, but all the sprites look like the sprites out of Final Fantasy VII, and it's like back Crow Country. It looks sick. There's a demo out now on the PSN. You should totally play it. It's sick, and it's gonna have a lot of those like backtracking and fun old PS1. The marketing team, they're called Neon Hive, the PR team. So back, I think it was around October of last year, they put out this tweet that was like, yo, any PlayStation creators out there? And we got tagged. So I was like, yeah, sure. Well, I forget who tagged us, but shout out to them. I was like, hey, man, yeah, this is us. We'll love to check it out. And then they sent us the information about Crow Country and said, hey, the demo's coming out at some, X amount of time. Keep it on the hush. I was like, okay, cool. I looked at it, played the demo. Dope. Are you watching the demo? Are you watching a trailer right now?
Looking at the stick, when you Google, the first thing comes up is the Steam page for it.
Does it tickle that interest? Yeah,
that looks great.
It looks so good, so good.
Cool.
Gift coming to PS5. Imagine Earth, PS5, PS4. Pac-Man Tunnel, Battle Chomp Champs, great name, PS5, PS4, and Rainbow Cotton also coming to PS5 and PS4. And that is all the games that are coming out this week. So big thank you to everyone, as we do every week, for joining us. Time is one of the most precious things we have in this life. We have a finite amount of it, and for whatever reason you chose to spend it with us, a big thank you. We really, really appreciate that. There's totally better things you could be doing, but you're not, so it's cool. Thank you.
What a fucking long show, man.
What a what? Oh, it is a longie, isn't it? Well, then we best wrap that bad boy up, Max. Do what you got to do. What?
Sorry, I looked across at my Facebook page, and there's a picture of a sign that says Bilbo Snaggins, and it's just different hot dogs. It's a hot dog menu. That's great. Anyway, this PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you'd like to take part in future conversations with us, you can come and check out our socials: Facebook, Discord, Instagram, and X. All of those links can be found in the description below.
If you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/popcultures where you can jump in the chat and watch the show live and become part of the show. If you want to support the show, you can. Tell your friends, tell your family about this PlayStation Pod. If you're listening to us on podcast service, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and a written review. If you watch us on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment below. I endeavor to answer every single comment. And if you want to support us financially, you can at patreon.com/popcultures, as well as our merchandise store, popculture.com/shop, where you can buy shirts and other sort of shit with our logos on it. But until next week, I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And that was for the players. I saw you chuckle again. Is there more memes?
Yeah, but inappropriate. I'll send it to you.
Sweet. All right, let's get some live reacts. All right, drum roll, drum roll, drum roll. It's not as like intense as I expected it to be, but it is very funny. It was very, very good. It's about 9/11.
It's about Jenga. Calm down.
And 9/11.